Hi, my name's Keith Cooper at No Flight Images, and in this short video I'm going to do a book review with a difference. Well, a sort of books review, and it is one in praise of books that most photographers would probably completely dismiss. Now this is, and for people who know the UK camera market from a few years ago and hi-fi and other things, this is a series of books produced normally by Dixon's, the camera salespeople, in the 1980s. Now, it's not available anymore, but they sold loads of them, and this is the sort of thing that ends up in charity shops. So you go in and you'll find a set of these. I think I probably paid, I got these 5 books at 50p each. So it's £2.50 for the 5 books. You might think, well, these are from the 1980s. It's film. It's, what on earth use are books like this? Well, I've got bookshelves full of stuff like this, and I'm going to say that yes, they are useful. Now, you accept that there's going to be pictures in them that really you would never take. They date terribly well, but I'm going to take, perhaps one of the more obviously useful ones, How to Photograph Landscapes. A nice ambitious title. It has lots of stuff in it. Now, the technique, the camera equipment, unless you're using old camera equipment, you're using film, in which case books like this are very useful because the fundamentals of using cameras and film have not changed. But this is looking at things like, in the example here, panoramic shots. Now, to do panoramic shots, you used to have to use special camera kit, used to have difficulties in processing and handling your film, all kinds. This is so much easier today with a DSLR mirrorless camera, with a digital camera. It is so much easier to do. So the basics of this, even though the camera equipment's out of date, what it's discussing isn't. So we've got something here, making landscapes work, about being selective, moving the camera, picking the time, all of the basics that are as relevant today as they were in the 1980s. Now, one of the reasons I've put these little tabs in some of the other ones to find pages is that, being the 1980s and being sort of camera magazine based as they would have been at the time, if you look at any 1980s camera magazine, the choices of imagery are not ones which you might choose today. There are a lot of women with not many clothes on. Now, that's fine, I don't have a difficulty with that, but I'm not going to show pictures on the YouTube channel just in case it gets picked up or something like that. So, but black and white landscape, that are great shots, whether I took them with film or whether I did. Now, let's find colour. The stuff you've got here with using colours, about shapes, about composition, it is as true today as it was when these books, and these date from the mid 1980s. So yeah, sure, you've got some, this one here, masterclass, you've got some great historical hairstyles of the 1980s. Now, I was at university in the 1980s, and yeah, the shots here about portraiture, they're great. I remember friends of mine at university who had haircut looked just like that. But all the details here about lighting and stuff, the fundamentals, the basics of portrait lighting has not changed just because we're using digital cameras. Once again, this is in the master, this is a collection of things. We've got stuff on panoramic landscapes. This is one where you're going to go, this is one of those books where I'll go through rather quicker looking for stuff. A band from the 1980s. This is one of those books where I'll go through a bit quicker looking for stuff. The landscape one is an obvious one for me, that's interesting. This one, a few pictures in it. Making more of colour. Well, that's far easier to do these days because processing colour film was always a bit tricky. And this has just got lots and lots of colourful images in it, which the sort of stuff I say, have a look at things like this and think about it. You cannot harm your photography by spending just a while, and £2.50. say from a charity shop. You cannot harm your photography by just going and looking at pictures. You don't have to read the words, and in fact most of these I do just flip through fairly quickly looking for pictures that catch my attention. If they catch my attention, that's great. I'm also looking out for pictures I see that I really don't like. Now, it could just be because it just looks so terribly dated or something. Well, that's one thing. But I'm looking for things that I think, oh, I don't like that picture. I don't like the composition. But the important thing is it's got a reaction out of me. So when you flip through old photography books, and I say there are masses of them up here and all on the other shelves in this office here, when you're looking through them, look for photos which give you a reaction. If they're in an area of photography that you don't normally do much in, take that as a hint. You might like to explore that area of photography. So, making that. Now, one here that creative camera techniques. Now, this has got interesting lighting tricks. It's got interesting tricks of how to do with film, so moving the camera. But an awful lot of this you can do quite easily digitally these days. Have a look at the pictures in it. If you see something you like, maybe it is something that you can also do digitally, and check that. Now, I'll finish off with just this one here, the close-up and still life book. This is actually a very useful little book. If you want to get more into photographing, doing product photography and the basics of stuff like that, and still lifes. Because once again, the kit may have changed, and I'm going to say in many instances because of the instant feedback you get with digital, particularly if you shoot tethered. So I do some macro work here on this table drawer here. I've got a stand here, and I've got a computer over the other side there with big screens on it, and I'll use that for taking some shots here. This is very solid, this surface here, so I'll use this for some macro stuff. And it's much easier these days than having to take the shots, get them processed, and see whether you've got it right. I've got instant feedback. I've got big screens showing me what the image is going to look like. I can do stacking. I can do all sorts of stuff. But all the fundamentals of lighting, products and stuff, it's all in it. I would say, in terms of general usefulness, yes, the kit's out of date again, but that doesn't matter because some of this stuff you use these days. I say, in general usefulness of the 5, if I bought the 5, this one's worth the £2.50 on its own. The others, varying degrees, but the close-up and still life book, it's rather useful. It's got lots of examples of creative lighting and examples using glasses, standard product stuff. Sure, you can find this sort of stuff on YouTube and whatever if that's what you like. I much prefer a book. I make no secret of my dislike of using YouTube for anything photographically related unless I absolutely have to. I'm aware of the irony of me doing this on YouTube, but that's what I do, not what I say. But this has got aspects of lighting, it's got lots of diagrams and things in it, and I'm far happier looking through something like this. There's a nice example there. There's a camera there with a much bigger bellows than this one here has got. It's a very similar camera actually to that one there, but a longer bellows unit. For setting up, it's got all the lighting, everything for that. So there you have what would be dismissed by many as a completely useless set of books. And there are lots of other series of books like this were produced in the 80s, 90s. They are been sitting on people's bookshelves. It comes to house clearance time. The books just get given away to charity shops and the like, and they are sitting there waiting to inspire you. Well, maybe. For something like this, if I see one picture that stops and makes me think, oh, I'll have a go at doing that, it has been well worth the £2.50 and the time flipping through it. If I find a picture I don't like, well, actually that's useful as well. So there you go. Dixon's World of Photography books, available in junk shops and charity shops throughout the UK. I'm sure there are equivalents in other markets as well. Anyway, I'm going to be doing more proper book reviews as well of specific books, but don't dismiss these as completely useless, out of hand. Anyway, hope that's been of use. If you've got any questions, please do let me know. I do appreciate it. I get ideas for videos and things from a lot of people's suggestions, so that really is appreciated. Oh, and please do subscribe to the channel if you feel like it. That's appreciated as well. So thank you.